422. Give little anguish, lives will fret. Give avalanches, and they'll slant. Straighten, look cautious for their breath, but make no syllable like death, who only shows his marble disk, sublimer sort than speech. 423. The first day's night had come, and grateful that a thing so terrible had been endured, I told my soul to sing. She said her strings were snapped, her bow to atoms blown, and so to mend her gave me work until another morn. And then a day as huge as yesterday's in pairs unrolled its horror in my face until it blocked my eyes. My brain begun to laugh. I mumbled like a fool. And though 'tis years ago that day, my brain keeps giggling still. And something's odd within that person that I was, and this one do not feel the same. Could it be madness, this? 424. The color of the grave is green. The outer grave, I mean. You would not know it from the field, except it own a stone. To help the fond to find it, too infinite asleep, to stop and tell them where it is, but just a daisy deep. The color of the grave is white, the outer grave I mean. You would not know it from the drifts in winter till the sun has furrowed out the aisles, then higher than the land, the little dwelling houses rise where each has left a friend. The color of the grave within, the duplicate I mean. Not all the snows could make it white, not all the summers green. You've seen the color, maybe, upon a bonnet bound, when that you met it with before the ferret cannot find. 425. 'Twas like a maelstrom with a notch, that nearer every day kept narrowing its boiling wheel until the agony toyed coolly with the final inch of your delirious hem, and you dropped, lost, when something broke and let you from a dream. As if a goblin with a gauge kept measuring the hours, until you felt your second way helpless in his paws, and not a sinew stirred could help, and sense was setting numb, when God remembered and the fiend let go then overcome. As if your sentence stood pronounced, and you were frozen lead, from dungeon's luxury of doubt to gibbets and the dead. And when the film had stitched your eyes, a creature gasped reprieve. Which anguish was the utterest then, to perish or to live? 426. I gave myself to him, and took himself for pay. The solemn contract of a life was ratified this way. The wealth might disappoint, myself a poorer prove, than this great purchaser suspect the daily own of love. Depreciate the vision, but till the merchant buy, still fable in the isles of spice the subtle cargoes lie. At least 'tis mutual risk, some found it mutual gain, sweet debt of life each night to owe, insolvent every noon. 427. Sunset at night is natural, but sunset on the dawn reverses nature, master, so midnight's dew at noon. Eclipses be predicted, and science bows them in. But do one face us suddenly Jehovah's watch is wrong. 428. We grow accustomed to the dark when light is put away, as when the neighbor holds the lamp to witness her goodbye. A moment we uncertain step for newness of the night, then fit our vision to the dark and meet the road erect. And so of larger darknesses, those evenings of the brain, when not a moon disclose a sign or star come out within. The bravest grope a little, and sometimes hit a tree directly in the forehead, but as they learn to see, either the darkness alters, or something in the sight adjusts itself to midnight, and life steps almost straight. 429. You'll know it as you know 'tis noon, by glory as you do the sun, by glory as you will in heaven know God the Father and the Son. By intuition mightiest things assert themselves, and not by terms. I'm midnight, need the midnight say. I'm sunrise, need the majesty. Omnipotence had not the tongue, his lisp is lightning and the sun. His conversation with the sea, how shall you know? Consult your eye. 430. A charm invests a face imperfectly beheld. The lady dare not lift her veil, for fear it be dispelled, but peers beyond her mesh, and wishes and denies, lest interview annul a want that image satisfies. 431. If I may have it when it's dead, I'll be contented so. If just as soon as breath is out, it shall belong to me. Until they lock it in the grave, 'tis bliss I cannot weigh. For though they lock thee in the grave, myself can own the key. Think of it, lover, I and thee permitted face to face to be. After a life, a death we'll say, for death was that, and this is thee. I'll tell thee all, how bald it grew, how midnight felt at first to me, how all the clocks stopped in the world, and sunshine pinched me, 'twas so cold. Then how the grief got sleepy some, as if my soul were deaf and dumb, just making signs across to thee, that this way thou couldst notice me. I'll tell you how I tried to keep a smile to show you, when this deep, all waited we look back for play, at those old times in Calvary. Forgive me if the grave comes slow, for coveting to look at thee. Forgive me if to stroke thy frost outvisions paradise. 432. I read my sentence steadily, reviewed it with my eyes, to see that I made no mistake in its extremest clause, the date, the manner of the shame, and then the pious form, that God have mercy on the soul, the jury voted him. I made my soul familiar with her extremity, that at the last it should not be a novel agony, but she and death acquainted, meet tranquilly as friends, salute, and pass without a hint, and there the matter ends. 433. A murmur in the trees to note, not loud enough for wind. A star not far enough to seek, nor near enough to find. A long, long yellow on the lawn, a hubbub as of feet, not audible as ours to us, but dapperer more sweet. A hurrying home of little men to houses unperceived. All this and more, if I should tell, would never be believed. Of robins in the trundle bed, how many I espy, whose nightgowns could not hide the wings, although I heard them try. But then I promised never to tell. How could I break my word? So go your way, and I'll go mine. No fear you'll miss the road. 434. It is dead. Find it. Out of sound, out of sight. Happy? Which is wiser, you or the wind? Conscious? Won't you ask that of the low ground? Homesick? Many met it. Even through them, this cannot testify themself as dumb. 435. Not in this world to see his face sounds long until I read the place where this is said to be, but just the primer to a life, unopened rare upon the shelf, clasped yet to him and me. And yet my primer suits me so, I would not choose a book to know than that, be sweeter wise. Might someone else so learned be, and leave me just my ABC, himself could have the skies.